good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I would like to ask everyone to please mute their mics for the duration of the presentation. We will open the floor for questions afterwards. The goal of our speaker series, Diversity in Water, is to highlight the stories of diverse leaders in the water industry, how their identity impacted their journey, and how they see diversity playing a role in the future of the water industry. So today we're going to be featuring Laquania Graham, and I'll tell you more about her, but first we'd like to tell you more about who we are. So the Diversity in Water series is a collaboration between the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, as well as the Young Professionals Committee. So the purpose of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is to proactively promote volunteer and employment opportunities that encourage diversity and celebrate the mosaic of people who bring a variety of backgrounds, styles, perspectives, and beliefs to the water industry. And today we have Savina Phillips, who is the current chair of the D&I committee at Ohio. And Savina, do you want to say a few words about our committee?
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Yes, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, as Sapna said, is to bring different styles and mosaics into the water industry and to focus on keeping that diversity and changing it in our future. We are currently looking for diversity and inclusion members. So if you feel yourself to be a diversity champion, please contact me and get started on some diversity and inclusion initiatives. Thanks.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, the D&I committee, we are active year round, and we collaborate with other committees. As you know, we're doing this Diversity in Water series with YP. We also sponsor the freshwater mixer during the annual conference, and hopefully we'll be able to do that this year, but if not, we'll find a way around it. And please, we're always looking for more people to join us in this journey to create a more inclusive water industry in Ohio and beyond. Next to talk about the YP, we'll have Megan or Julie tell us a little bit about YP. I'll go for Megan.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. So the YP committee is a committee of AWWA that's dedicated to advancing the careers of students and young professionals in the water industry. So we do all sorts of things from hockey games to career panels to water plant, wastewater plant tours. We have an e-career panel that's coming up on Tuesday, March 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And then throughout this whole COVID experience, we've been hosting regular e-happy hours. And I believe the next one is going to be hosted by Northwest. That will be a statewide e-happy hour. And everybody is welcome to join these events, not just YPs. YPs are traditionally 35 and under, or less than 10 years in the water industry, but we're just a welcoming bunch. We're a fun bunch, and we welcome everyone. So you can come join us, zoo events, all sorts of things.
All right, well, thank you, Megan, for that. So this is the Diversity in Water team. This is the team that puts together all of these events. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sapna, and I'm an independent consultant with Water Savvy Solutions. If y'all are interested in being a guest or you have recommendations, please feel free to reach out to one of us on the team here. We're always looking for diverse speakers with interesting stories and backgrounds. All right, so today we'll be hearing from Laquania Graham. So she is the Education and Outreach Administrator with Cleveland Water. Employed by the city for over 18 years, Laquania has represented Cleveland Water in hundreds of primary through collegiate classrooms, a myriad of senior centers, Rotary clubs, chambers of commerce, Girl Scouts, along with several businesses and organizations. Laquania is a widely acclaimed speaker, so we're quite lucky to have her here with us today. She's also known for customizing programs and presentations for educators and special interest groups. She hails an associate degree from Cuyahoga Community College, as well as a Bachelor of Arts degree in Urban Studies and a master's degree in Public Administration from Cleveland State University. Laquania is the author of 5 books, a homeless advocate and a community outreach strategist, and we feel extremely honored to have her here with us today. And so with that, I will let Laquania take the reins.
All right, yes. Okay. Wait, I can share. You got it?
Got it.
All right, okay. As Sapna said, I am Laquana Graham. I want to thank Sapna, Julie, Megan, and Sabina for this opportunity. I mean, you didn't have to. And you could have chosen so many different people, and I appreciate this, Sabina, especially you for sending this courtesy to me. This is not easy, and I just commend you. I want to just clap it up and give you all kudos. I want to see some reactions in the chat as well, even for you being here, everyone else, because you could be doing a number of things. Could be cooking, you may not have had a good, not so good day, but you're here, and we're going to have a good time. This is not a gripe session. It's more of an opportunity for us to really have an impact in our environments. I know I learned a lot 2 weeks ago when we had Sierra and Donella, I believe is how you say it. They were really good. And so I did learn some things. I took a lot of notes from that. So we have a Women's History. We're in Women's History Month. We're going to have a game later on in the presentation. I hope you stay around for the game we have in mind. All right. I am a quote lover. Quote lover. Any quote lovers out there? Quote lovers. I love quotes. And quote we're going to start with today. Thank you, Sabina. We're going to start with today is, no snowflake in the avalanche ever feels responsible. No snowflake in the avalanche ever feels responsible. Who can tell me what they perceive that to mean? Tell me in the chat. What do you perceive that to mean? I don't want to click on it. Any responses, Sabina?
We don't have, we just got one. No one wants to take responsibility in a group. That's from Olivia.
Yes, Olivia, you are the winner.
Not taking individual responsibility.
Yes, not taking responsibility. And so we have that a lot in our work environments, various, wherever we may come from. Our work environments can cause an avalanche of issues. It could be a culmination of factors from, it's not meter reading, it's billing. It's not billing, it's customer service. It's not you, it's them. It's not her, it's me. It's a bunch of shifting. Everyone involved is a part of this avalanche, all right? We're going to deal with that today, talk about shifting the blame and what we can do, what's within our power, what's in our hands to deal with some of that blame. All right. Next screen. Am I doing this right? There we go. All right. We good? You see it? Nothing's changed. All right, good. All right. So I did go to Cleveland Community College, and I had a bit of an astronaut, lawyer, doctor, scientist phase. I kind of wanted to be real estate, maybe a newsacre woman, a few different things. Does anyone relate to me? Did you always know what you were going to be, or was it, are you like me? Just say yes or no in the chat. Do you relate to me? Nod your head, let me know I'm not the only one that didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just was kind of out there. Right?
Some yeses.
Yes, I'm seeing it. Okay, yes.
I relate.
I struggle with that. And so I went on to Cleveland State University, and I got a degree in urban affairs. I said, I want to be a social worker. I'm going to do some grant writing or something to save the world. But I also had a mortgage. So this is around the recession, about 2008. And I was like, I really need stability. I need to be solid. I need to know where my check is coming from. So I said, let me get a master's degree in public administration. I'll have more of an opportunity to broaden my horizons. And I could stay with the city if I chose to, because at this point, I had been with the city for a little bit. I started with Cleveland Water in 2002. So almost 20 years of being with Cleveland Water. I started out in meter reading, assistant chemistry's office, and I was the secretary for those different sections. I also, well, gradually I went to the customer account management group where I dealt with high level complaints, whether that's Mayor's Action Center, Attorney General's office, hospitals, stadiums, just the big wigs, city hall complaints, mayors, just all types of stuff. So it was very strenuous. If there's anybody out there that survived high level complaints, maybe we need a survivors group because it was not easy. So hats off to you, you have survived. I went on to director's office and eventually public affairs, where I had been presenting on behalf of Cleveland Water since 2006. However, I wasn't officially placed here until 2017 in public affairs. I was just presenting in between my other responsibilities. So it was definitely a major shift to do this full time. All right. We're going to cover a few things today. One is what diversity means to me, why it's important, and even in education and outreach. I'm going to touch on just a few parts of diversity when it comes to race, gender, and age. Okay, let's get going. Diversity is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. It's being sensitive to different demographics to me. Things like age and gender. For example, I remember being a part of a committee. And when I joined the committee, the group was mostly older people that were older than me. I was maybe 22, 23. They were older than me. And I was the youngest person. And they were doing things longhand, like math. And I'm like, did you know you can use Excel? There's a way out of here. You can use Excel. And I was like, oh my gosh, but I had to learn how to be sensitive to, this is what they're used to. I had to make sure I'm not disrespecting them because that's their way. And I can use my way to do what I need to do. Maybe we can marry somewhere in the middle later on, but being respectful of different age groups, all right? Diversity means, it can mean having a small window of an opportunity. When you're dealing with people at work, it could be you're trying to see if they're either racist, are they prejudiced, are they sexist. You have a small window trying to make a judgment call on someone, and you're trying to decide, do I want to cause an awkward moment by asking questions, or do I want to sit in my discomfort? So that it can be just a split second. You're trying to figure out how to address this. All right. I can give you, I don't know if you all had an awkward moment like that. Nod your head. Let me know. Like, should I deal with this? I don't want to cause a shift in the atmosphere. I don't really know. So we deal with this at work. We blurt out things. All right. I had an incident. I remember I was going to a meeting, and I went into the lady's office, and she was telling me about, we were talking about something, I don't know, sales or JCPenney or whatever. All of a sudden she randomly mentions that she has a mixed niece. And I'm like, rice of tea in China? I was like totally lost. Like, this is awkward. And I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, nodding my head, like, why did you bring that up? This is definitely different. I've learned there's a significance in the power of pausing before you speak. Pausing before you speak. Like, you think it may be awkward, maybe you shouldn't say it. Pause before you speak. Diversity means inclusion. It means being well-rounded. Okay, do you want a bunch of tokens? Okay, they're gay, they're female, they're Black, but do they have a voice? Or are you just parading, these are my people, I have them here, but do they have any authority or any say in anything? We don't want tokens, we want them to be well-rounded in your communities, your boards, your committees. Diversity means respect. Okay, be respectful of their title and position. May not agree with everything they say, but being respectful of that, of what they have to say, of who they are. You can agree or disagree. We want to borrow someone's glasses, you can, and say, okay, ask questions. How are they perceiving this? Maybe they have a history. Maybe they've been through something before. Like, that's where they get that from. Okay, we'll talk about why diversity is important. Diversity, it reduces echo chambers. When you diversify the boards and committees, everyone doesn't look the same. They don't think the same. You have to really be cognizant of whether you want a bunch of bobbleheads just to agree with you, like, oh yeah, yes, you're great. But do you really want diversity? Sometimes people aren't comfortable speaking in front of groups. That was me. I didn't feel like I had anything of relevance to say. I was part of this committee. And I remember the chairman of the committee he said, Laquana, do you have an opinion? And I would say, I was the youngest at the time. And I was like, no, deer in headlights, no, no, no. I didn't know what to say. I didn't think I would be welcomed to say anything or be respected. But the more he kept asking, he wouldn't let that go. The next meeting, same thing. Laquana, do you have an opinion? I'm like, okay, okay. So gradually I became more comfortable speaking. So when you have your diversified committees and boards, organizations, pull on these people to talk. I mean, maybe I hope they don't run and cry, but you want to try to get people involved and engaged. All right. Reducing echo chambers. When you do this, when you have these echo chambers, you limit your progress. You can only go so far. People are telling you, yes, you're great. And when no one's correcting you or telling you that you could do better, you don't want to do that. A lot of people, they just have to be right. They have to know everything, and they're not teachable. You can have the book skills, but you got to have the people skills. They have to work in concert with one another. Okay. I remember I have someone that works with me. His name is Ray. I think he's on here now. Ray has um, he helped me with a lot of the stuff to make this magic happen behind the scenes. So I was frustrated because he wasn't as fast as me. And I'm like, let's go, let's do this, this. And he's like very methodical. And he was like, you're not gonna rush me. It's like boom. And I was frustrated. But he said to me something I will never forget. He said, do you really want someone that is just like you? And I thought about how aggravating that would be to be like, man, that would be something. So that was my learning lesson. Like, you know what? Maybe someone different is okay. No, it definitely is okay. All right. Diversity breaks down barriers. Representations. Well, let's not skip that. Diversity is important because representation matters. I speak a lot at Cleveland schools or just around. And so I'm able to say, I look like you. I was there where you are. I was in poverty. I was in a poverty stricken state. I didn't always have food. I, didn't have the best grades. I understand. I'm able to take them my books and say, hey, I wrote a book. I'm not a celebrity, but I wrote a book and you can too. I graduated from college. I bought property. I'm able to encourage them. And that's why representation matters. Diversity breaks down barriers. We have so many barriers. If we don't relate in age or race, we have to look for a common ground. Okay, what is there anything else we connect on? Maybe it's chocolate. Maybe it's Nancy Drew. I love Nancy Drew back in the day. So how can we find this common ground? Because work can be awkward, right? You agree? Work can be awkward. You're in an environment, you're like, we're having a small talk before meetings or after meetings. It can be awkward. I can remember, I got stories for days. I can remember I was in my office and a lady came to me and she would always tell me about her Black stories, who she met and what have you. And I would just feel so weird. Like, this is weird. And so she's in my office telling me her stories. What do you think? Tell me in the chat, what do you think I should have done? She comes to my office. We're talking about anything but race. And then it comes up. What do you think I should have done? Something to help me in the chat. I don't want to click on it and lose my place. What do you think? She's in my office telling me her Black stories. And I'm feeling awkward. Like, yeah.
Waiting for responses. Have a go-to phrase.
Go-to phrase?
Have a go-to phrase, but I have no idea what that would be.
Right. Anyone else?
Franco says, ask her why. Olivia, I have no idea. Try to redirect the conversation.
And so I did. I would change this. Thank Olivia. I tried to change the subject. It didn't work because she'll come back like the next week, like, hey, guess who I met? And it was just so awkward. And I'll tell you what I did. Nothing. I did nothing. And then that didn't help either. Even though at times I felt like I shouldn't have had to say something, I didn't say anything. And so I was concerned with being perceived as this angry Black woman stereotype. I was very concerned with that because of the environment that we were in. And I was struggling. I could tell she was trying to connect with me. She was kind of desperate at this point, but I didn't want this. If I correct her, maybe she would go off because she was really a big crier. And I said, this could just end up being bad. She'll go around the building till Laquan made me cry. So I didn't say anything, and that just wasn't good either. She ended up telling people that I hated her, which was horrible because I didn't hate her. I didn't know how to correct her. And that's why diversity is so important, to learn these type of things. What can we do? Diversifying your network helps you to deal with small talk with people that are not like you. Okay. You won't be so inclined to tell the story of that one Black friend you have, or you know, the slang, or hey homegirl, kind of awkward. Okay. This is why it's important. I can be honest with you all. I felt like AWWA wasn't diverse. Years ago, they had come to Cleveland um, for a conference, and I looked at the schedule, and there were things I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, this is for engineers and chemists and operators. And I felt like there wasn't a place for me. And I'm so grateful that this opportunity came around for me to not only listen, but also present. I mean, this is incredible because I needed to see this, because I had threw AWA out the window like, oh, it's never going to be different. But I'm grateful for this opportunity. We are diverse at Cleveland Water with our education and outreach. I was given the basics to craft presentations, but I had to develop a system of my own to engage different audiences, because we have 1.4 million customers in 30 different communities. So everyone's not interested in water. So how do I, if I'm in the room, how do I engage these kids or engage the seniors in learning about Cleveland Water? In the picture you see to the right, I was at a school called German Language School. I remember walking into the building and people, they were all laughing and joking. And then when I came in, it was a shock, like, do you know where you are and where you're going? And they followed me to my room, and it was just different for me, but it ended up being a phenomenal experience. Actually, I got a job offer from there. They got a job offer. They wanted me to teach German at the German Language School, which was interesting because it worked out well. I had to get over the impression that I got and just go for it. And the principal offered me a job that day. Didn't take it, but it was an opportunity. I was with a group of seniors on the left-hand side, and it was awkward because it started out with someone not being able to breathe. And I'm like, ooh, what do I do? And you have to learn how to adjust to different audiences. You can't be the same all the time. You have to learn how to adjust. I remember speaking at an all-boys school, and were talking about their experience walking into school that morning. Some of the kids were dirty, some of them didn't even have water. So what do you think I could do in that situation when I walk into the audience and not assume they are all wealthy or have water at home, just a basic need? What do you do to adjust if this was you?
Waiting for responses.
I understand. All boys school. Talk about their morning and talking about walking over a glass to get to school. I think it was a big arrest in the neighborhood. That was a big topic. And I'm like listening to them talk. Ooh. Well, I didn't do, I had to learn to adjust to that audience, because I don't want to talk about, oh, our water is great. Just ignore what they were saying. I wanted to make sure I was down to earth, that to some degree I could relate to their experiences. I learned that some of my seniors and the children, they tend to stray from the topic. They want to talk about my earrings or my shoes or something different. I had to learn that how not to be disrespectful to the seniors or the children, but also not let them take over the conversation, right? Learning how to manage the diversity in the room. We have diversified our literature. We have literature in Spanish and English. We have diversified our audiences. We accommodate audiences if it's 5 students or 5 adults or 200 kids or adults. We accommodate them. So it's not like we'll treat you better because you live in a affluent community and then you are in a poverty area, so we're gonna not even show up. We treat them the same. So I bring the same energy with 5 or 200 people. I'm like, let's go. Practically dancing on the tables, let's go. Just adjusting to those different audiences. We diversify our speakers. I have a guy that he's our electrician here at Cleveland Water, and he's not really into speaking engagements, but I was asked to speak at a trade school. And in the trade school, I'm like, I don't have a trade. I'm really prissy. I don't have a trade. So who can I call on? Well, the electrician who doesn't talk agreed. Yes. So I got someone to share the microphone with. making sure I give him the mic. I had our manager of engineering go and hang out with our YMCA kids and teach them some things about water. We have different subject matter experts, different stages in their careers, different ages. I remember I also had a security guard here. He went to speak at his alma mater. And I thought that was an awesome idea. He wasn't used to speaking in group for kids, but it was just different. When you think about diversifying your speakers, you want to make sure you share your microphone, that you don't always have to be the star. Like, who can you send out to do different things? I used to give college interns a voice. We would have to come in the summertime, give them a voice. What do you think about how we're doing things right now? How can we implement your ideas before you go back to college so you can see that we are doing what you have suggested? Because some of them were really good ideas. Giving them a voice, connecting with the younger generation. I remember Donella, I think I saying that right? Right? I hope Donella. Okay. She talked last 2 weeks ago about being a mentor advocate. And I think that's so huge. I was fortunate enough to meet some mentors along the way. I was in a meeting and I was very passionate about what I was saying, about how we were doing things. And I was just adamant that this is wrong, da da da. And then after the meeting, one of the ladies who I didn't know, she was older than me, very motherly. She pulled me to the side and said to me that what I was saying was completely right. However, my approach was wrong. And I just needed someone like that I'm grateful that I met her, because that was critical for me in my career, because I could be saying the right thing, but my approach could be wrong. And that's why it's so important to have people that advocate for mentorship and that are willing to be mentored at the same time. I want you to look at your management staff, your influential voices, all the leaders in your company. Are you looking to just replace the same people with their sons and daughters? Recycle this family? Really consider how things are being done within your place of business. Okay, we diversify our engagements. I can be with first graders today, and then tomorrow I'm with a country club of men talking about clean water. It just varies. Learning how to adjust those different atmospheres. I was sitting with a Rotary group, and they were talking about their boats. And I was like, that would be great. Oh, this is nice. And they were just going back and forth. I'm just sitting there in the middle, like, yeah. What time I just scheduled to speak? Because this is just painful for me. I wish I had a boat. But in that, adjusting to that audience, and then 2 hours later being with a group of kindergartners on the floor is different. Learn how to shift is important. I'm grateful that I had a boss encouraged me to solicit different organizations like senior centers and charter schools, council meetings, libraries, faith-based organizations, and professional groups. We were just everywhere. At one point, I was at a Chamber of Commerce presentation. I think I did Chamber of Commerce or Rotary Club, and I met someone that was affiliated with Girl Scouts. He gave me his card. I made the connection and ended up doing close to 40 Girl Scout troop engagements, which was huge because it was only a matter of months that it happened, and it just catapulted. It skyrocketed because they were looking for different things, especially free things, to keep the kids engaged, and they word of mouth, went to one after another, and it was phenomenal. We had a great run. We even partnered with YMCA. That was huge, where we had our employees from all over just help us show YMCA students and children about how great our water is. Think about in your respective organizations, how purposeful are you when it comes to outreach? Are you content with being in the same community, you talking to the same people? You have to be purposeful about your outreach. We diversify through education. We have a free STEM program for 6th to 9th graders. From September through April, we're virtual right now from 9 to 11 a.m. They get a chance to interact with these professionals, and right now we're at about 40% girls and 60% boys. It's been like a little trend as of late. We're trying to push females into the field. They get a behind the scenes look at professionals. We had a presentation by someone, I believe in January, on finances, a female on finances, which was awesome. We had someone talk about energy marketing. and we're going to have a session on drones this weekend. So we just look at different ways to make STEM fun, to encourage students to go into that field. We we're even considering some things like, how can we incorporate horses in STEM or race cars in STEM, just to make things fun. Does your water organization push STEM at all? You know, is that something that you all consider? Because that's important. I had some great highlights too here. These are some of our students that we've managed to push out there into the STEM world. Some awesome, go back to that one. This is one of our classes, I think it's 2018 or 19, one of our classes. And we went to Osborne Engineering, Key Bank, Shaker Heights Police Department, just looking at different things when it comes to STEM. I've had my own personal highlights. I'm incredibly grateful for this journey that I've been on with Cleveland Water, because I took some things personally, and I had some personal goals I had to achieve. I had to win cases when I was called to testify. I was like, okay, well, I got to figure this out. I'm going to stay up, spread my notes out on the floor. I want to figure this thing out. I took pride in that. I took pride in things like, I remember a attorney for a hospital. She sent an email to the mayor's office saying that how much she appreciated me for explaining something. She was the opposing attorney. She didn't have to do that. It meant so much to me that she went above and beyond to make her gratitude known. It meant a lot. I keep cards, letters, emails with the thanks, because it helps when I was called racist names or made me feel like I didn't belong in different environments. It helped me remember my value, because I needed to remember, like, you know, you are good. You know what you're talking about. In almost 20 years that I've been here, I stayed away from the water cooler talk. I didn't want to be around the cattiness and the little games that was going around in any workplace. I didn't want to take part in that. So I had seamless transitions when it came to my different career moves. I didn't want people to feel like when I left that they could fail. And that's a thing. I was talking to my coworker about that the other day. That's the thing, when people really expect you to fail or encourage you to fail. When I leave, you're not going to know how to do anything. Okay, that's not good. That's not a good thing. So I'm thankful for my seamless transitions, because I didn't want to be like that. I remember 2 weeks ago, Sierra had mentioned treating relationships like gold. I thought that was just critical, because relationships are so important. I was able to get things, especially when I was in the customer account management group, because I had relationships. I developed a network of people to help me. I didn't walk around like a diva, like do this or else, and look at me. I had the relationships. Treating the janitor and the director the same way. I see you, you're a visible person. Critical. How you affect your personal relationships with people affect your professional relationships, because you have these games, I'm sure, where, because I'm like, I'm not going to help her. I'm not going to answer her email. This can't be. We have to learn how to be more welcoming. Okay, we're going to give you another slide. Here, diversity charge. I want to charge you with some things. One is to be intentional about diversifying inside and outside of the workplace. Stop hiring and linking up with the same people. Go out of your bubble, out of your comfort zone. Okay, you won't diversify if you keep doing the same thing around the same people. You have to reach out, get out of your neighborhood. I want you to listen and ask questions. Don't assume because, oh, this is how they are, so I'm on TV, this is how they all are. No, it's not acceptable. Denounce disrespect. Be intolerable of people being disrespectful or treat someone wrong because of their sexual orientation, or race, age, or what have you. Not acceptable. And also to allow grace. So because one person treated you like that and they are of a particular ethnicity, it's not okay to just treat them wrong. Everyone else wrong because it's how someone treated you. It's not okay. Allow this grace. When I was going into different environments, and I wasn't made to feel welcome, I had to take that and throw it to the side. I had a presentation to do. Just because they didn't want me there didn't mean I had to talk with a chip on my shoulder. I had to make sure that I gave the best presentation no matter what. They made it clear sometimes, but I had to make sure I pressed past that, allowed them grace. Maybe they just didn't know, or maybe they didn't know and didn't care. I don't know, but I have a job to do, and I'm determined to do that. We covered a few things. so far, and I want to make sure we allot some more time to talk. We covered how work environments can cause an avalanche. I wonder sometimes if training would help, because we're saying diversify, but if we're put into a group of people that are not like us and told to play nice, how does that look? So it's training. I definitely believe training should be a factor. It should be ongoing, but you just don't learn everything in one session, or you had 6 weeks of classes and now you're set. No, ongoing training, because people change. You have a high turnover, they forgot what they learned. You want to make sure you're looking at the avalanche that's caused in the different environments. We talked about the significance of pausing before you speak, before you just blurt stuff out. Pause. It saved me a number of times, just pausing before I speak. Diversity is important because it reduces echo chambers. Talk about that. Diversity, talk about diversifying our network, diversifying our audiences, our engagements, making sure that we're being well-rounded, okay? We talked about how personal issues affect personal issues affect professional issues. So if I'm mad at you, I'm not gonna help. Oh, they're young, they'll figure it out. I had to learn my way. I've been here for 30 years, they'll figure it out. I had to figure it out on my own too. No, it's not okay. I want to charge you with being intentional, okay? We have a game in mind. Before we get to the game, are there any questions?
Sierra had one question where she said, and it was in reference to the one colleague you mentioned who was telling you, quote unquote, I think you said Black stories.
Yes.
So she said, in hindsight, how would you have corrected her?
I don't know, because again, she was a big crier. So I don't know if anything I said would have changed anything, but what I would have liked to do before, she's gone now with another job, but I wish I could have made it clear that it makes me uncomfortable. And I don't know why you're doing this, because I like you as is. You know, it doesn't matter if you have a Black friend that you met last weekend. You seem like a good person to me, just period. So I wish I would have done that. And at times I feel like can I find her number? Because I hate that she left telling people that I hated her. Like, it's not how I felt. I didn't hate you. I didn't have a reason to hate you. It just was uncomfortable and awkward.
Right.
That was it, right?
Yeah, that's the only question we have so far. But
okay.
Please, others, feel free to add your questions to the chat as we go along.
Okay, we have this is Women's History Month, so we're going to play a little game. I'm going to give you some hints out the gate. Talk about, I want to say Hypatia, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, of Alexandria. She was known for her contribution to the world of water, including the invention of a distiller, a device to measure the water level, and a graduated hydrometer to measure the relative density of liquids, a precursor of the current aerometer. That's Hypatia. We also have Ellen Richards, the first woman admitted to the prestigious MIT to study chemistry. She was considered one of the mothers of environmental engineering. She founded the Women's Laboratory, a program for women at MIT, where she taught women basic and industrial chemistry, biology, and mineralogy. So those are 2 hints. I believe Ray is here. Ray, I'm not sure if he needs to share his screen. No, I don't think he does. Ray?
Yeah,
I would need to share my screen.
Okay, so let me stop sharing.
Okay, everyone, like Laquania said, we're going to do a trivia game, and since it's Women's History Month, it'll be based off of women's history. Oh, my screen share is disabled. But while we're trying to figure that out, there's a link in the chat, the myquiz.org. You're going to go onto that website. You're going to put in the code right here that I just threw in the chat. Put in your name, and you guys will be ready to play.
Do you have access now, Ray?
Yep, I'm good to go. All right. Again, name of the website is myquiz.org, and the quiz code is right here, 679871. And I'll give you guys about a minute or so to log in so you guys can play.
Uh-oh. code is 679-871. Okay, got it.
Yep. All right. So, anyone have any issues? I can't see the chat right now, so.
Nothing in the chat so far, but on my end, it says waiting for players starting soon.
Yeah, there I see 13 people of
Okay,
they're all ready to go. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time.
all right.
And 15 people in. All right.
Is anyone else still trying to get in?
Nothing in the chat. I think we're good to go.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. All right, the first question is, what woman was the first African American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? Was it Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler, or Zora Neale Hurston? Correct answer, Toni Morrison. All right, the next one will be coming up.
Who got that? Emery's.
It looks like 4 people got the correct answer. All right, who opened up social work as a profession for women and also won the 1931 Nobel Peace Prize for her anti-war organizing work? Was it Jane Addams, Susan B. Anthony, Billie Holiday, or Anne Jacobs? Correct answer, Jane Addams.
Jane.
All right, next question coming up. Who was a famous and highly respected mathematician, astronomer, and Neoplatonic philosopher in Alexandria who designed an astrolabe, a plan spear, and a method of distilling water? Was it Myriad? Oh, everyone got that right? No, some people got it wrong. All right, next question. Which Mexican American woman has repeatedly been the leading money winner in the Ladies Professional Golf Association? Correct answer, Nancy Lopez. All right, next question. Who is the first lady to have developed her own political and media identity?
Oh, you guys getting good.
Eleanor Roosevelt. All right, next question coming up. This woman was an English novelist who wrote the Gothic novel Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus, which is considered an early example of science fiction. There you go, Mary Shelley. All right, who was the first Chinese American woman ever to elected to hold a statewide office in the United States? Come on, July, you got to let them, stay in the lead a little bit, get a little close to you.
Julie is the leader. Julie is winning.
Yeah, Julie's going off. All right, 3 more questions. This woman was the first woman admitted to the prestigious MIT to study chemistry. Her professional career focused on the environment, air, water, and soil testing. She is considered one of the founders of environmental hygiene or one of the mothers of environmental engineering.
Yes.
Yep, Ellen Swallow Richards. In addition to her 6 world titles, this person was the first Indian woman boxer to win a medal at the Olympics. Correct answer was MC Mary Kom. All right, last question. What leading suffragist was arrested and convicted of attempting to vote in the 1872 election? Correct answer, Susan B. Anthony.
Okay.
I think I got a coin with her on it somewhere around here. And that's the last question. And the winner is Julie.
Ooh, Julie. Julie had no mercy. She was going for it.
With Meg in second place and Shannon in third.
Yes. Awesome job, you all. Thank you. We just wanted to make sure we tied in our Women's History Month with the game. We love games. And that's all we have. Back to you, Subna. Thank you so much, Ray.
No
Subna
problem.
or Sabine, I'm not sure.
That was fun. We have a fun fact here. Toni Morrison was born in Lorain, Ohio. Didn't know that. It's pretty cool. So do we have any questions from our audience? You can feel free to unmute yourself or include your question in the chat. I guess in the meantime, I'll ask a question. When you're, how do you engage with young minds about the importance of water? What do you find resonates with them?
I give them examples. I'm always bringing my trusty water example with my lemons and cucumber in mind, as well as a water bottle. And I make it more personal, like, do you really want that water that's been sitting in the bottle all day, went through a factory, sitting in that plastic? If you want, fresh, it has ice in it, all pretty. Fresh water that is constantly moving clean. We clean our water 350 times when we test it 350 times a day. So they need to know that. And like, oh wow, well, how much is your bottled water being tested? And they're like, I don't know. Well, it was tested before it left, probably, but I mean, it hasn't been tested since. It's sitting in a bottle. So I just think we do a lot of games. So I start with either getting on the floor with them, talking, making them show their muscles about how their muscles need water, your brain needs water, just finding different things to keep them engaged.
Mm-hmm. The next question is from Brenda. She says, or she asks, if you could automatically teach all young girls a few things, what would you want them all to know?
It's so much. More lately, I've been speaking a lot about loving yourself and really looking within and just trying to come to a resolve with issues in your life. If it was water, it'll be different. But more lately, just dealing with your personal things and learning to like what you see in the mirror.
Yeah. This question is from Olivia. How do you talk to consumers about the price or cost of water?
I try to stay away from that. I don't spend a lot of time on that because it can get into more personal. I have my water bill right here, and you guys, we don't want to do this. I try to keep it on a positive note. I'm sent to talk about more of a proactive approach, like, hey, our water is great, not necessarily there's an issue with bills in Pepper Pike and we're gonna go out there and talk to them about that. Try to stay away from that. I show them our rates. I talk about the quality of water that we have. We go different places. I went to Jacksonville and I was there and the water was like a funny yellow, and I was like, that's normal for you guys in this hotel? Like, this is a nice hotel. What are you guys doing? I talk about how different is Toledo water. Hope no one's from Toledo on the call, but water is just different in different places. I talk about how great that is. The price and cost, I really don't get caught up in that because they bring their bills. Some people, they are ready. So
Yeah.
I don't want to go, because then it takes the conversation to a different start.
Yeah.
No.
So then if somebody does ask you, what then would you focus on instead? What's your number one message around water?
Well, think about the rates, because the rates we had at one point, we had rates fixed for about 4 years. I talk about how we had a fixed rate structure. That was huge. I talk about just general, because I don't want them to go into the personal stuff. I do that. And I also make sure I have forms available so that I'm just not dismissing them. I have a form. If you have an issue with your bill, please, by all means, fill it out. We'll address it within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll give it to the right parties. I can actually look at your account, review all the history, because they may give a one-sided, oh yeah, I didn't get a bill. Did you pay it all? Did you pay? You haven't paid in 3 years. Oh, we didn't know that one, did we? So just I make sure they don't allow those biases to come in. I just want to make sure it's positive.
Yeah. The next question is from Megan, and she asks, a lot of professionals are looking for opportunities to mentor young people. Do you have ideas for how they can engage on a regular basis?
Definitely. I deal with schools, I deal with churches. There's, you have Boys and Girls Clubs, you have the YMCA, different places that you can spend time with children and to really pour into them. High schools, can you volunteer at high schools? Those are always great resources. And you find kids that really, really want that guidance. I find even when I was speaking at a middle school, and I remember the teacher asked me to pull one of the young ladies aside, because she was being very, very promiscuous. And I know what he saw in me made me think that that's okay, but I was like, this is not quite water. But I made sure just talking to her as a 13-year-old, like, I remember where you were. I remember that. So you never know where the opportunity lies. Take that chance, because these kids really need it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, churches, schools, athletic groups, softball teams, they just need love.
Yeah. Megan gave the Big Brothers and Big Sisters as an example of a place you can get involved as well. Savina asks, how has mentorship helped you during your transitions?
Tremendously, because when I had people that didn't want to help me win, so to speak, and they were older than me. So I had people around me that I didn't have to speak on it and be messy, but they pulled me to the side. I know what's going on with you. I know this has to be difficult because the person is talking about how they're not going to help me, but you're doing a good job. You're going to figure it out. I'll help you any way I can. And it just, even without us talking about the actual details, it meant the world to me. And in how I am now, I make sure that new people are coming in, and they may be 20. I'm no longer 20 years old anymore coming in. I'm trying to pull them to the side, like, hey, that wasn't the best idea. Think about your relationships. So now I'm doing what was done to me. So it's really, really helped me.
Right. That was the last question in the chat, but I have maybe one or two questions for you. I'm curious to know what has been your key to success, or keys to success?
Keys to success. One of them is my faith. That's been huge for me to keep me centered and grounded and humble. That's been important for me. The other is learning the lesson. A lot of times we go around in circles with the same thing, and because we're not getting the lesson out of it. I'm making sure that what's in here for me? Like, what can I get out of this? This person isn't helping me. This is so frustrating. All you have to do is tell me what to do. I'm here to help you. What's the lesson in that? Okay, don't do that to someone else because I feel like I'm being replaced or I feel away. Learning, getting that lesson out of it, it's being observant, it's being teachable. Oh, that's huge, because a lot of people would say, I'm not where I want to be, but they're also not teachable. I have to make sure that I stay, I could be a leader, but also a teacher, but I can be a student as well. And that's critical. You can learn something from a lot of different people.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll ask one more question. I just think you have a fascinating story. My last question then, which is more in line with our Diversity in Water series, is what advice would you give to our fellow water nerds here tonight on what's one thing they could do to promote diversity?
One that we had discussed was really just trying to broaden our horizons and be exposed to different environments. I had to look at my circle because I went to John Marshall High School, very diverse, but as we graduated from each other and no longer was in contact, I didn't have that same diverse circle. So I had to, it's so awkward, but I was at a store and I was shopping and I was with someone else, and this lady, we were vibing about curtains or something. She said, you know what, we should go for coffee, because we were just vibing. And I'm not sure, I think she may have been white, but I'm not sure, can't remember. But we were vibing. It's so different to make friends as adults, or to say this, because it just feels weird to say, hey, stranger, let's go for coffee. So, but it just helps me diversify my network more. I join different Facebook groups or different things. If I see an event online, I'll just go by myself. Like, I don't know anybody, just go. So I'm like a title, I'm going. And I walk in with my confidence and I'm meeting new people. And they're like, hey, do you know anybody here? No, I don't. I'm going hand dancing. So just getting out of my bubble, because that's so critical. I wanted to make sure that my diversity did not stop in high school or college. Now that I have, want to keep our same friends for 20 years. I do. I love my friends, but I had to branch out into broader horizons.
Yeah, it seems like you've had this healthy curiosity.
Yes. It took a lot of nerve. Like, she's going to think I'm weird, but hey, you know what? We're bending together at an event. We're having a good time. What you doing after? Let's go out to eat. So come on, why not?
Yeah, it just takes I think I'd be really scared just to ask someone.
I'm shaking. I looked confident, but I was like, she's gonna be like, yeah, no, you're weird. We just try. I tried, yeah. Like, that was over. It's over now. Oh my God. She said yes. Oh my God. So
right. What do you have to lose, right?
Right. I don't know you anyway. I'll never see you again.
Right. Brenda says, totally great advice on making new friends as adults.
Thank you, Brenda.
I think, as we get older, we get really comfortable in our own little social circles and
establish our set of friends that we can trust. I know you, I have to start all over again, but we really need to branch out.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because some people can really be weird, but every now and then you feel a good connection, let's just go out.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a lot of affirmations about making friends as adults.
Yes, it's hard. Our pride, all of that is just weird.
Well, we're at the top of the hour, and I just wanted to close off with a few things here, Laquania. And I realized I was mispronouncing your name, so I apologize, and I didn't ask you how to pronounce your name. So thank you so much for making time for us and for sharing your story and advice. I think this just helps broaden our community, and it helps broaden our perspective around the different or diverse experiences that we have, not only in the industry, but as a community. So I'm really glad that you decided to bring yourself to us.